Hello everyone. So today we'll be talking about spiritual empowerment, that is creation of an integrated lesson plan. This is being submitted by Ms. Garima Bhutani and the school code is 37. So today we'll be talking about grade 10 and the topic for today will be identifying the elements and their trends. So a very warm welcome to everyone. So we'll start today's session by understanding the learning objective of today's class. So as you know that objectives form a very essential part of a learning of a child's life. So let's see what will be our objectives for today. Today we'll analyze and identify the position of elements. We'll also be focusing on their atomic number and find out what are group 1 elements. Along with that, we'll also justify the position of elements and we'll see how their trends vary when we talk about group 1 elements. It's extremely important to understand how well we are connected with the learning outcomes which is also stated by NCERT. So let's see that with our today's learning, what all outcomes we will be achieving. So of course, we'll appreciate the importance of elements and their classification, which is extremely important. We'll be using some direct sensory experiences for developing the concepts of periodic table. So it's time to explore. Let's begin our journey. So we'll begin it with a game and let's see there's one image on the screen, right? So can you guess the scientist who we are discussing with the help of this image? Can you tell me some of the scientists? Rutherford, no. C.V. Raman, not at all. Newton, no. Anyone else? Mendeleev, yes, you're right. So you must be of course thinking about Mendeleev and one more scientist who were associated, that is Henry Moseley. Yes. Now if I ask you, we always study about scientists like Mendeleev and Moseley whenever we talk about periodic classification. Now tell me, have you ever wondered, any Indian scientists associated in this case? Kids, any Indian scientist? Anyone? No? Okay, so seeing something new that I am talking about. So let's see what was new or what was India's contribution towards this domain. Let's begin with a question on this aspect. How were the elements named when we talk about the gaps which were provided by Mendeleev? So how were these gaps named initially?
Some Eka.
Yes, you are right. Some Eka, absolutely right. So they were called as Eka boron, Eka aluminium and Eka silicon, which were later on called as scandium, helium and germanium. So now, what do you think is this term Eka meaning? Eka means? One. Excellent. And from where do we have this term Eka? No? So we have our Indian culture associated with it. This coming from Sanskrit, the term Eka, which means one. So here we are telling about the connect of Sanskrit and Indian history in the development of periodic table, which we generally tend to miss out. So let's see further. So this is what tells us about the journey. Now, do you think this progression is still till date? Do we still have any other scientists who are continuing towards this progression? Yes or no, kids? No. So let's see. This is the journey of India's progression from Mendeleev's era to modern times. When we talk about 2014 of producing super heavy element, that is 117. So 100 years ago we had an expectation to study and discover an element that was with atomic number 117. And 100 years now, we are there involved in the production and some of its properties. That's the beauty of our culture. So we have Dr. Sushant Levy and Momita Mehti from Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics. They were involved in joint collaboration with GSI, Helmont Center of Heavy Ion Research, and they were actually a part of this historic experiment. So we do miss out these Indian scientists now and then, but they have a very important role in our development. So that talks about the progression of India. That's what talks about progressive India, right? So let's begin and learn our today's concept with certain games. So today we'll go by gamification from emojis to element. I'll show you some pictures which have some emojis and some alphabets. You will guess the name of the element. Seems interesting, kids?
Yes.
Wow. Let's begin with the first one. So if anyone could guess it?
Chromium.
Chromium, absolutely right. Second one, any guesses?
Gold.
Very good, gold. You have been able to relate it so well because you love emojis, right? Third one, no? Yeah, this seems to be a difficult one. So can we have it like calcium? Yes or no? Yes, it is calcium. Next one,
Beryllium.
beryllium, excellent. And the last one to go, we have some flag. So what is it? I gave you a hint, no one? Germanium, yes. So these are our elements. So this will help us to understand and build a connect. This way we learn science also in a gamified manner. So these are your chromium, beryllium, gold, germanium and calcium. Now let's begin with another activity which is called as your splat activity. Now let's see the instructions. Everyone please spread your deck of cards on the table. And each card has a well-defined color provided to you. When a question is asked, you will pick up a card or multiple cards depending upon the question which is answering the same. Right? And then we'll understand and learn the trends of periodic table, their properties, their variation with respect to this. I hope everyone is ready with the deck of cards. Wow, good. Seems great. So we have a colorful deck of cards with everyone, and let's begin with our new game where we'll talk about the elements. So the first question which goes in, you have to raise the cards that have 1 valence electrons. Everyone in the classroom, please raise the cards that have 1 valence electrons. Yes? So we'll have elements with atomic number 1, element with atomic number 3 and element with atomic number 11, that is hydrogen, lithium and sodium. Great. Now let's see with these cards, is there anything common with them? Let's have a quick look about what do they have. So the atomic numbers we've already stated, that is 1, 3 and 11. So what do you think will be the valency? How many electrons do you think they'll lose?
1.
1? Absolutely right. They lose 1 electron. So what their valency will be? 1. Do they have a common position in the periodic table if I ask you? Do they have some common position? Yes or no? They all belong to group 1 elements. Absolutely right. So they all are a part of group 1 elements. That's what they have in common. They all have 1 valence electron. They all have 1 valency. They all have 1 group elements. So let's see how many shells are there in lithium if I ask you. How many shells are there? How many shells are there in lithium?
2.
2, exactly right. So the configuration is 2 and 1 and we have 2 shells. Now how does it differ from sodium? Sodium has how many?
3.
Yes, we have sodium has 2, 8 and 1. So there are 3 shells in sodium and 2 in lithium. So how do you think the size will vary? Which is larger? Lithium or sodium? Lithium or sodium?
Sodium.
Sodium, exactly right. So as we go down the group, that's how the size tends to vary, and that's what we see about their atomic sizes down the group. So as we are coming down the group, the shells increases and that's why their sizes increases. I hope everyone is clear with the first trend. Yes? Exactly right. Great. Now let's go and assess our learnings for today. Now let's see what will be my learning for the day. So I'll ask you certain questions and based on your answers, we will be mapping our learning, right? And the same way I will request everyone to map their learning whenever you prepare for your assessments at home. So the first question talks about name the elements that belong to group 1. What do you think will be your answer, students? What do you think will be your answer?
Lithium, sodium,
Okay. Lithium, sodium, potassium. Exactly right. So whenever we say that lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, that means we are clear with the concepts, right? So our outcome is achieved, right? Any other answer that you might be thinking about?
Hydrogen, helium, lithium.
Okay. Helium belongs to group 1? No. So you need to work on you know the elements, but you need to work on identifying to which group do they belong to, right? Yeah, I can see that some of you are thinking about some random elements. That means we do lack the concept, right? So this is a way where we can map our outcomes and we can actually see whether our outcome is achieved or not. It's very essential to understand whether the outcome is being achieved or not. That will help us in our learning for the day, right? So I want you all, I'll give you one home task, I'll give you one more worksheet and one more crossword to play at home, which will help you to understand. So do ensure that you are understanding, reading, revising and working on your concept. Do remember, you have to stay focused, go after your dreams and keep moving towards your goals. Then only we'll be able to achieve our goals. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.